Hey everybody. There's Sweet Tea and Robbie. Here we are. Hi. It's weird. It's a weird phenomenon that happens, and I don't understand it. I've been doing conventions a long time. We've been doing stuff on Saturday, Rob, and we're working and we're sweating and we're doing good work, I think. And we get some folks appreciating it.
Right.
We go away. Around this time every Saturday, the room just fills up, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know what.
What's different?
I don't know. And I've tried changing pants on stage. I tried changing pants. That drew a different.
Oh, the room's not been so empty. Some of the chairs left.
Oh yeah. Entertain the people.
Good job, Trout. Rich dropped his pants. And some of the chairs left. That was my joke. I thought that was pretty good.
It was really good. I didn't hear it. I loved it. Listen, what's going to happen now is a very important safety announcement.
Oh.
I think it's a safety announcement. I don't know. They
Direct your attention to the screen.
They're going to run something on the screen. So everybody pay attention to the screen.
Have that volume up.
Hi there. I'm Rob Benedict. You may know me as the lead singer of the band that plays on Misha Collins. But I'm actually in a functioning band. That's right. We're going loud and swing. And we have 12 albums. That's right. And they're all for sale in the merch room. The merch room. That's a room near here where artisans sell their wares. So check it out. You can find loud swing music, other music. Be right there, Lucy. You can find jewelry and jewelry makers and loud and swing music. So visit it now. Remember, Loud and Swing, with a band that plays a live show the night before Jensen and Jared come. All right, plays out, boys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, that's right. One time.
Let me tell you something. That's a solid piece of filming right there. And it's a fun flashback to when Stephen Norton was cosplaying Taylor Swift. It was a great. Look at the hair. Round of applause for the haircut. I mean, that was
Not for Steve, but for the haircut.
We didn't. The long hair also looked good. Man, what a switcheroo. What inspired it? Why now? Why this moment? He just debuted his haircut. So what drove you to do it?
I was really high.
There you go.
Really high? All right, there we go.
Hey, that commercial, by the way, was directed by our very own Richard Spade Jr.
Yeah, still waiting on my check.
Nice. Same, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest has also changed his look. In fact, I believe we can now use him as a way of measuring the success and or failure of a Supernatural episode, because this man is touting a full beard. And I give his full beard a Stapleton. Robbie, what do you give his full beard?
See, I'm going to give his full beard what are my choices?
Kenny Loggins or nothing else?
Kenny Loggins.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins.
I know this because I'm in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's where you get to sort of not be Castile, but you're sort of a hippie.
Right.
Future.
Yeah, future cast, which is actually Misha Collins.
Right.
And this is what you look like.
There's a line from that episode. Did I have a beard in that episode?
I feel like you did. It says it's unshaved.
Oh, don't act like you've seen it. I'll make it.
I imagine it was not quite as white.
Right.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines is in that episode. Oh, let's go get washed up for the orgy. When you say it's like real me.
It's
right?
really good. Yeah, it's really good.
How many times have I said that in the green
Oh my
room?
God, if I had a nickel.
Have people done? Do you have a photo op session later today, or have you already done that?
I had a photo op session.
So does anybody have a photo with Misha later this weekend coming up? Great, then I'm gonna do you a favor, because this is we have different, prom, Charlie's Angels, things we do, kind of standard issue poses.
Yeah.
There's one you can only do with Misha when he has his beard, and I'm gonna gift it to you, because you may not know, but
Yeah.
you're new. So I'm telling you this now, you can use it in your photo op.
Yeah.
It only works with the beard.
Uh-huh.
Scratch and sniff. There you go. Enjoy, everybody.
You're welcome, everyone.
Great, thanks. That's the best. They have beards too, Scratch and sniff them. I recently, I don't know if who knows my biography. I try to tout it as often as I can, but I was a White House intern. I know, it's kind of amazing. And when I was interning in the White House, this was back in the 90s, I was out of place. I didn't really know, I felt like I had conned my way into the gig. I felt like I didn't belong. I was wearing my dad's suit, which was like 3 sizes too big. It looked ridiculous. I looked like a Talking Heads video. And I don't think I was very good at my job, but I recently got an invitation from the First Lady to come to an event at the White House, and so I went to this function at the White House. It was going to be the first time that Hillary Clinton was coming back officially to the White House since she had been Secretary of State, and it was kind of cool because it was a small room, maybe like the first 4 rows here of people, like not a giant auditorium, but a small room. There was this event happening. It was very formal. There were all these military officials in full regalia, standing guard, and it just had a very formal, almost like you would expect from royalty in the UK, kind of a vibe for this function. And I was seated next to Hillary Clinton's former chief of staff, and there were all of these other luminaries around me, and it was kind of cool because I had just been on a TV show and I had played this character who had a lot of suits, so I had a suit on that fit, and I felt like a grown-up, and I felt like, you know what, I actually belong in this company. I didn't con my way into this, and then there had been music playing, and then the music stopped, and the room went totally silent, and everyone stood up because Secretary Clinton and Joe Biden were entering the room. And at that moment, I saw somebody who I had interviewed on my Instagram, Karine Jean-Pierre, or Kareem, and I was like, wait, she's the White House press secretary. And I was like, oh, is it Karine or Kareem? So I pulled out my phone to check her name. And as I opened it, the first thing that opened up on my phone was actually, I bring this up because Richard Spade was just up here. There's a text that Richard Spade had sent to me and Jared and Jensen earlier in the day, and he had shared a tweet that had been posted, and the tweet was just a mashup. The Republicans in the Senate had earlier that day held hearings on book banning, and they were advocating for, there were all these senators advocating for banning certain books, and to illustrate their point, they were reading excerpts from books that they thought should be banned. I opened my phone to Google, is it Kareem or Kareem? And this starts playing.
And I began to slide into him from behind.
Sexually explicit material. Sexually explicit content. Sex. I touched his dick, and he touched mine.
This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me.
Cousins weren't supposed to do these things with cousins.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life.
Now the problem is, There had been some update to the Twitter.
Strap-on harness. Fisting. Plugs. Analingus.
I could not get the thing to stop. The screen went black and the sound was still coming out. And everyone in the room turned to look at me. And I was like, I can't. So, thank you, Richard Spade, for that. Awesome. Yeah, I won't be back there again until the next insurrection. I'll just tell you one more little brief anecdote to show that I haven't completely fallen apart at the seams. This morning, I was getting ready to go for a jog, and I realized, oh my God, I didn't pack shorts. And I thought, now that's great. Now I can't exercise at all. And then I thought, what's the difference between shorts and underwear, really? What is the real difference? And so anyway, I went for a jog. And then I didn't know which way I was going. I was just running along the river, and I was running along the river, and I sort of looked up, and there was like, oh, there's a lot of people right there, and the Impala. And I realized I was running right past this very large group of fans collected around the Impala, and then I got several texts from people who work at Creation saying, did you just run by? And what were you wearing? They were not orange. They looked like, I think I caught myself in the reflection of some office building windows, and they looked like underwear. Anyway, those of you who are hanging out around the Impala, good to see you again. Hi, save me. Okay, this is, right, this will just be another headline. Florida man seen running. Hi.
Hi, my name is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice to see you. Just my question is, I've traveled around the world with my mom, visiting places that our ancestors came from, and looking at gravestones and things like that. Just fun stuff to look at our family history. So we like to travel. What's the most interesting place you've ever traveled and why?
Most interesting place I've ever traveled. I don't know. I have been to Tibet was really interesting. Nepal, India. India was kind of fascinating. I was trying to make documentary films like back in 1995 and didn't really know what to make a documentary on, but I was traveling around the world and started like 10 of them and did some of that work in India. I did it in Haiti in 1993. I was in Haiti. There had just been a coup there, and I was staying with a liberation theologist priest who was friends with the president who had just been overthrown. And there were, at the time that I was there were all these death squads going around killing people. And they were doing this thing called necklacing, where they would put a tire around somebody and then light it on fire and watch them burn alive. And we were sleeping out on the porch with this guy who was clearly a target of this kind of attacks. And every time a car would go by, it would be like, we're gonna die. We weren't even allowed, the State Department wasn't allowing people, like all the commercial flights had been canceled, but we went in on like this aid flight that somebody, I don't know, I was an idiot. I thought that I could, when I was younger, I thought, it'll be fine, was what I would always say about everything, but then I would find myself in situations where you should not be. Like, when I was crossing the border from Nepal to Tibet, I had gotten these. I was with my girlfriend, who later became my wife, and we had heard that U.S. citizens could not get visas to go into Tibet at the time. But if you got a visa for Shanghai, you could then use that visa sometimes to cross into the border of Tibet if they weren't really paying close attention, the border crossing guards. So we did that. We went to the Chinese embassy, we got these visas, and then we were hitchhiking our way to the border between Nepal and Tibet, and we got picked up by these guys that were driving a vegetable truck. It was like a dump truck, kind of, but it was filled with vegetables. And so we climbed in the back with the vegetables, and then as we got closer to the border, I was like, why risk it with this like visa that may or may not work? So we buried ourselves under the vegetables. And then we got up to the border crossing, and they opened the tailgate of this truck and jumped up into the vegetables and started poking with their guns, and immediately found us. And I was like, did we, must have drifted off, buried under the vegetables. And then we produced our visas and they let us go. It was amazing. They didn't care at all. Yeah, that was pretty
I
interesting.
also wanted to say thanks. I'm on your community page, and I got a text that said, "Hi Lisa, I'm just here, for the strike and sending you a message."
Oh,
So thank you.
well, great. I'm glad that didn't offend you. Yeah, all right. Well, nice chatting. Hi.
Hi, my name is Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm all right. My question is, I have a motto that I live by. One ruins 100 attaboys, meaning that you are only as good as your last deed, and that kind of keeps me on the straight and narrow. And I want to know, what motto or saying do you kind of say to yourself to keep you grounded?
This is an adage that I go by when I'm working with my hands, and it's measure never, cut forever. And it's really got me through some tough times. What is yours? Yours is one is worth a...
One ruins 100 attaboys. That means
Ruins so
Right, you can
basically what you're saying to yourself is never make a mistake, because it doesn't matter how much good you've done in your life, it will ruin everything.
that's kind of what I do. But
Yeah, well that's great. I think that mindset really sets you up for success.
It just reminds me to be kind to everyone. And,
I see.
And to kind of keep that moral compass going.
But don't you ever feel like, I should have been mean to that asshole? Like, doesn't that ever happen?
No, if
Is
you're
that-
having a bad day and you don't know what's going on with somebody else, and you just kind of have to be kind.
Oh, you're one of those people who's actually good all the way inside. Sorry, I
I
misunderstood.
mean, on the outside I have RBF, but I'm a marshmallow on the inside.
Well, that sounds like a lovely edict, and it's great that you can always be kind to people. I have noticed that there is very rarely a time when later on you're like, shouldn't have been kind there. Very rarely. I think that's a good mandate to follow. I'll try to take a page from you and stop being such a prick.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, hi Misha. Hi everybody. My name is Savannah Payton,
Hi, Savannah.
and I'm just wondering, so I'm on your text list, and I'm just wondering why more of your text messages don't start with "Hola, mis amigos."
I don't know. That's a really terrible oversight.
Good way to teach her.
Do you find my texts annoying?
No, not at all.
No? Oh, that's nice to hear.
I love to see your little picture pop up.
Oh, really? That's very sweet. I like, it's a weird way to communicate with people on text. Like we actually communicate on text. If you post something on social media or something, people basically ignore it. But if you get a text message, it's like, oh, that's personal. I've been trying to be pretty vigilant about not sending any dick pics. Because I feel like it really kind of changes the vibe of the conversation. Although now that I said that, I feel like I probably should send a couple just what was I going to tell you? I got distracted by my own stream of consciousness. Right. Did you have a question for me? What was it?
Why don't you start more of your texts with Ola Misha?
Oh, that's what it was. So Ola Misha Migos was a line from an episode which we'll call the Parisian Error. And because I'm not allowed to talk about the show that I was on, you know, in too much specificity, although it seems like we're getting a little bit loosey-goosey with the rules now. Like the first convention that we had, when the Screen Actors Guild started, the strike started, everybody was really vigilant about not saying Supernatural. And now we're like, well, it seems like we're probably going to be never working again anyway, so we might as well. So, we had this episode, and it was the French Mistake. I guess I just said the name of the show so I can say the name of the episode. The French Mistake. And they did like a parody of each of our personalities, and it was really, and they did it for the crew as well. Like everybody was sort of parodied in this episode, but it was actually, I think it was more on point than any of us wanted to admit. Like it was actually more our actual characters. Like I really am kind of like caught in my head and not very nice to people on set, and Jared is really, you know, a total megalomaniac. And I mean, those giant portraits. I don't know if you remember this episode, but there was like a giant, in Jared's house, he has this giant portrait of himself, which of course, when the episode was over and when the season ended, Jared was like, hey, so what are you guys gonna do with that portrait? You're not just gonna throw that away, are you? And he has alpacas, you know. He didn't at the time, but that's life imitating art. He doesn't actually. But he has some weird animals. He has like a whole petting zoo. He's like Michael Jackson. I know, it's creepy, right? I just saw a kid's Halloween performance, and they were playing Thriller and dancing to like Thriller. It's like, these are children. How are you doing this? I thought for sure we would never hear another Michael Jackson song again after that documentary came out. And everybody's like, technically it was before the Me Too movement, so we could do it, but he got away with everything. So in this episode, they have me texting Hola Mis Amigos, which was sort of like a play on, at the time, I had my minions on Twitter, which was I don't know what happened, why I said it, but I did, and then it became a thing. And so the writers were making fun of me for that. And now I meet fans all the time, and they're like, hey, I'm a Misha Amigo. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't get out of this vortex. Anyway, I said, when we were filming that episode, I said to the writer, Ben Edlund, I was like, Ben, just a note, I would love it if maybe like in the next draft, you could just push it a little further. Like, I want to be the quintessential LA douchebag actor. Like, make my character just so gross. And he was like, okay, got it. And then he wrote it. He didn't push it as far as I wanted to. So I did things like when the hair and makeup lady, you know, in the episode comes up and starts applying, I just push her away, like physically push her away when I'm done. And I don't acknowledge people who say hi to me on set because they're crew members, and why would I talk to them? Which of course is kind of how I am. But I tried to make my character as unlikable as possible. My manager at the time watched the episode and he called me afterwards and he said, "Misha, loved that episode. And it was so refreshing just to get to see you play yourself." That was awesome to hear. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Beth,
Hi, Beth.
and I'm a college professor down here in Florida.
Whoa, fancy.
I teach anatomy and physiology, so kind of
Whoa.
gross, disgusting stuff.
Yes.
And my daughter has been coming to campus with me since she's been a month old, so she's been very involved in my career, and we've had some really creative, interesting events because of that. And I was wondering, with what you do, do you have any funny stories about your kids
And my work?
Yeah.
I think that, I have been trying to insulate my kids from social media and stuff like that now that they've gotten old enough to understand what a view count is and things like that. But they see me interact in the public a little bit. Like we were at the zoo and somebody came up and said, "Hey, can I take a photo?" And then I don't know, maybe 5 minutes later, someone else said, "Hey, do you mind if I grab a quick photo?" And my son said, "Ugh, great, another fan." And so that's cool because I get to integrate them in that process a little bit. And we're really super embarrassing. And let's see, what else can I tell you about my kids? I mean, you and your daughter, when you say you've done a lot of, do you do
Well, she comes to campus, so she's met a lot of the faculty and the students, but because of what I do, she doesn't have much of a filter, and she's gonna kill me. She's right there, and she's gonna be 16, right in front of you. She turns 16 tomorrow, so as soon as I sit down, she's gonna smack me.
Right.
But
That sounds like there's maybe some stuff to work on in the relationship.
For example, she's very proud of saying when she has blue poo. So when she...
Say more.
When she was 3, I just talk about stuff at home because it's what I teach and I need to make my students comfortable. And she would...
And your daughter as uncomfortable as possible.
Yes. I promised her I wouldn't do this, so I'm gonna...
So this is not only just bad parenting, but also breaking a promise.
Yeah. But she loves Superman ice cream, and it has that blue food dye. So all you hear screamed across the house when she goes to the bathroom is, "I have Smurf poo."
Smurf
poo. So my mother-in-law would come down. She has said it in front of my students. Not so much anymore, but when she was smaller on campus.
She doesn't do this as often now.
Again, there's no filter, but...
By the way, for those of you who can't see, the 16-year-old daughter went from sitting up at a normal height. She's now slunk down to the floor, trying to disappear into the carpet. Careful, because there might be some blue poop down there.
But yeah, she's just important, and...
You can't cover this up with some sort of sugar-coated niceness now. By the way, if you do slap her when she sits down, we all understand.
Am I the only one that, so I guess you've been nicer to your kids?
Oh yeah, I would never embarrass my children in any way. When my daughter was younger, she went to the bathroom. It got up from dinner. We were having dinner. She's like, "I have to go to the bathroom," and then she was in the bathroom and she said, "West." What was it that she said now? bathroom. Wes, come here, come here. He said, what? What? I'm eating. She said, come here. Look, my poop, it looks like a penis. And he said, I've seen that before. And then a couple minutes later, she said, West, come here. My poop looks like a flower. And he's like, all right. Got up to go check it out. It's cute. I miss the fleeting childhood. It's going by so fast. They're like, my son is now 13 years old and his voice is changing, and I bought him a razor. It's crazy.
She has her permit and is learning to drive, and I can't do it. We have someone else teaching her.
Yeah. Well, that's lovely that you can share that, and presumably, like, some things, you know, she's outgrowing, and some things she's not. She's probably wiping herself now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and I hope your family recovers from this. Hi there.
Hi, Misha. I'm Michelle.
I'm Michelle.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather have every pair of shoes that you own turn to a loaf of bread within the first mile of walking in them, or have every radio around you ever play only one song, Baby Shark?
I am going to choose the Baby Shark option, and I'll tell you why. Radios don't exist anymore. So I don't have to worry about hearing that song.
Not even in your car?
I will just remove the radio from my car. Oops.
Curse you.
Hi there.
Hi, my name's Addison.
Hi, Addison.
I was wondering what songs you have on repeat right now.
Not Baby Shark. Do you guys know who Giga Chad is? About 5 people do. So it's this Russian male model who's got the craziest, most angular jaw, and he's kind of got this deep creased dimples. He's totally jacked on every kind of hormone that you can imagine, and my son and daughter are really into Giga Chad, so every time I FaceTime with them, they answer the phone with the Giga Chad expression, and it's this sort of constant theme. But there's also all of these Giga Chad songs now, songs that are based on the face of this model somehow, and so they play these Giga Chad songs all the time, which is sort of like the Baby Shark being on repeat. It's making me crazy. But there's something about it, it's like the Manchurian Candidate. Like, you hear the song and you immediately, you can't help but go. Your face just locks into that expression. I don't know, I mean, I try to listen to as much Taylor Swift as I can to be, with it and hip with the kids. What about you?
Lots of Taylor Swift and Harry Styles.
Yeah, my daughter's bringing the Harry Styles home now. Yep. It's intense. I feel like I'm folded into the music of the day now by having children, and there was a long period where I was completely divorced from what was going on in contemporary music because I was still listening to my LPs from the 70s. But now I feel like I have my finger on the pulse, which is great. I feel hip, cool, now that I have a white beard. Nice talking to you. Bye. Hi.
Hi, I'm Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
I was wondering if aliens came down and landed on Earth tomorrow and offered to take you to their home planet, would you go with?
What's it like on their home planet? Are they doing is there any kind of pitch? Is this like one of those timeshare pitches where it's really quite amazing? We have white sand beaches, pina coladas all day long. No, I know nothing about it.
No,
It's just like, hey, do you want to come hop on this spaceship with us?
Yeah.
I would probably pass on that.
See, I would.
You would go?
Yeah.
So you have a really shitty life.
No, I'm just stupid.
I was amazed. I don't know if you caught this in the news, but it was like 4 years ago. The European Space Agency or whatever put out this request for applications for people to go on a one-way trip to Mars. They're putting together, they raised a bunch of money to build a rocket, but a ship that was going to take people to colonize Mars. They didn't yet have the technology to figure out how to get them back as well. So they're just going to do a one-way trip. And 500,000 people applied. That's how many people hate their lives. Can you imagine that? I mean, you can, obviously. You want like sight unseen, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like all liquid nitrogen. You immediately freeze to it. What's that?
I've seen too much sci-fi.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Maybe stay away from that. Well, thank you for the question. It was very, not at all thought-provoking, because my answer was immediately no, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, Misha. My name's Lily. What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you recently?
Oh, thank you for that qualifier. I actually just told the story. It was that when my iPhone started playing Strap-On. Sorry, I know that you're just a teenager.
Then what's the second most embarrassing thing?
Well, recently, running by. I guess I've run out of material in this department. Yeah. Well, thank you for asking. What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you lately? Other than this.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting for you to ask me.
I know, it feels awful to be put on the spot, doesn't it? But you know what feels good? Giving people a taste of their own medicine. I imagine that was the most embarrassing thing you've experienced lately. Oh, it's not going well? Of course she's mad. How can you act surprised? I don't know why. Unfortunately, like, she actually seems to be legitimately angry at me. Yeah, and I mean, I think everybody here is a little bit mad at you. You got nervous, and the only thing you can think is like, I'm the same way. When I get nervous, I try to throw one of my kids under the bus. It's just a reflex. It's like, oh, take them! I'll give you an example. I'll give an example that might make you, because I'm a kind person, I'm going to give an example that might make you forgive your mom a little bit, because you'll think, oh, could be worse. Should I tell the story? So, my ex, we were going to see the bears in Alaska. And we landed on a little seaplane on this lake. And my ex was like, I'm a little nervous. We were with the kids in this plane. I'm a little nervous because I'm having my period and I'm afraid that the bears are going to smell up. And then they're going to come out. And I was like, that's not how it works. Don't worry. They're here for salmon. You're fine. Don't worry about it. But we got a little debriefing from the guy who was also the pilot on the plane, and he said, whatever you do, if we are going to see grizzlies out here, whatever you do, don't run. Try to stand up tall, slowly move out of their path, and don't cower, don't play dead, and don't run. And he was like, that was it. Those are the only rules. And so the plane lands on the shore, and Vicky has to go to the bathroom, so she goes into the bushes, and we're unloading from the plane. We're just at the edge of the water on this little pontoon, and Vicky goes into the bushes, and we're just stepping onto the sand of the lake when she comes running out of the bushes with a grizzly bear right behind her. No joke, like right behind her and running at full tilt. And she runs right past her 2 kids, jumps into the back of the plane, and the grizzly follows her right up to the, and there's like, oh, wait a minute, there's a couple of smaller ones. And I have this photo where me and the kids are standing on the pontoon of the boat, and the grizzly bear is so close that when I took a photo, it's just nose, like, of the grizzly. It was very exciting. Point is, your mom may have mortified you in front of 1,000 people, but at least she didn't throw you to a bear. You're like, man, I would rather take on the bear. Where were we?
Oh, I was asking the most embarrassing thing.
Oh, you know what I did? I told an embarrassing story about somebody else, so it was a 2 for 1.
I have a completely different question now. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Peppermint. Couple of whoops and a couple of woo. Hi.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I want to thank you just for always being an inspiration of both mischief and good in the world. With everything going on, I was kind of asking, what kind of tradition would you like all of us to carry on this holiday season?
I will, I don't know, I think probably being thoughtful and kind to one another during the holidays. I do think, you know, I celebrate Christmas, and my family celebrates Christmas, and I think that particular tradition has become so commercialized that it's divorced of its actual intent and meaning and of any spiritual merit for most people. It certainly has been in my family. And was it last year? Yeah, last year. No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I said to the kids, like, hey, how would you feel about no presents? First of all, sort of gets you off the hook as a parent. But also, I was just like, every year, and I've had this experience since I was a kid, frankly, like, you go, you get excited about Christmas, and you go and you open all this stuff, and then you just feel kind of like, ugh, kind of just feel like you ate too much or something, and actually none of the material objects that you get actually bring you happiness. And so I said, well, how would you feel about, like, instead of doing that, we find a family who's actually in need of stuff, and we get presents for them, for strangers, and within our own family, we just have like a nice morning together. This is, you know, the extended family was coming to my house. And to my surprise, the kids were like, yes, that sounds great. And my son echoed what I had said. He was like, yeah, I always get like so excited about Christmas, and then we open the presents and I just feel kind of yucky afterwards. And I was like, yes, you get it. And so we did. We found this organization that put us in touch with a family that had a very, really fucking long, greedy list of things that they wanted. And it took us like 2 days to collect all of these gifts, wrap all these gifts, but there was something really nice about it because it felt like we're doing this not expecting anything in return and not for ourselves, just for someone else. And then it was very sweet because we talked on the phone, and the mom agreed to like let us come, let my kids come and like bring the gifts, which was really nice for them because they just got to see the impact on this family, and it was really sweet. And got back, and it's been like 2 days of going to, you know, all kinds of stores and gift wrapping stuff, and I felt good. Like we had actually cracked the code on how to make Christmas work. And then, sorry, these people hate Christmas stories. And we were getting ready for bed, and I said, wasn't that nice? Wasn't that like so much nicer of a way to do Christmas? And Mason, my daughter, who was 9 at the time, she said, yeah. And besides, we're still gonna get presents from Santa. And I was like, right. Yeah. So that was a rough night. Drive like an hour and a half to find a Target that was open. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Allie, and I was just wondering, what is the most bizarre and wild milkshake you can invent?
Milkshake?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. Is this because we can't ask questions about the show? We have to talk about milkshakes now? Is this what it's come to?
I have a question because I just didn't know I was going to get picked, so I was like, I can come up with something.
But you put your name on the list, right?
Yeah.
And then you've been waiting in line for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's what is the most bizarre milkshake you can come up with? That's what it is?
Yes, unless you have a better question.
Well, pretty much any question is a better question, right? This is the only milkshake-related story I can come up with. But boy, you really thrown me for a loop. When I was at like the second convention I ever attended, and at the time there was this, I was still a guest star in Supernatural, and I didn't know, like every time a script came out, I thought, oh, maybe this is the one where they're gonna kill me. I didn't know what each episode was gonna bring. And I would go online after an episode aired, and I would look at what fans had been saying to see if like, are they liking my characters? Is this gonna have legs? Or, trying to take the pulse of the internet. Something that I have long since stopped doing. But at the time there was this website called LiveJournal, and LiveJournal had this, they would do like real synopsis of the episode, and then people would get into like what they liked, what they didn't like, but it was like the forum that people went to discuss TV shows of the day. And I was on LiveJournal, and then I clicked through on something, and then I found myself in this. I was like, that's weird, this doesn't seem like a review. This is more like a story. It's just like a story about Cass and Dean, and I don't remember seeing any script with this storyline in it, and then I was like, and then, somewhere at some point in the story, like, Cass slides into Dean, and I was like, what is this? What have I come across? And so then this convention was like literally the second convention I've been at. Somebody gets up with a microphone, just like you, and asks me a question, and it's a question somehow related to like online universe. And I mentioned that I had been reading some stuff on LiveJournal, and then this person said, oh, LiveJournal. I was like, yeah, are you on LiveJournal? And she said, yes. And I said, what's your handle? For some weird reason. And she said her handle, and it was the person that had written the thing that had been read. And I was like, oh my God! You! And she was mortified. Like she turned immediately bright red. And then I felt terrible. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. I don't know how my brain even collected that. I think that when I read your thing, I was so traumatized that my brain is like steer away from whatever this handle is. So then I felt bad, and I was like, let me buy you a milkshake to make it up to you, which I did. And then, for whatever weird reason, that person ended up working with me for like 15 years and becoming a good friend. She's great, obviously a little twisted, but that's my milkshake story. And it was strawberry, not that weird. I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry, because you got so much more answer than you deserved for that question.
It's okay, we archive our own topics, so it works out. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
This is the band, Rob, and myself. We're here.
Hi.
But come here, before you.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
Billy and I just went mountain biking a few days ago.
Yeah.
It was great. He's a real jock. We went with Matt Cohen.
Right.
And I'm pretty pleased to report that we had to wait for Matt Cohen.
Yeah!
I was like, I mean, Matt Cohen is just nothing but rippling muscles.
Right.
And he was winded.
Were you guys on the electric bikes?
I was. Let's not get into isolating the variables on this. The point is.
Hey, Walter Cronkite, put a pin in it.
Matt was on a single gear bike.
I love that, though. That's great. That's the first time Billy's voluntarily talking to the microphone in 6 years right now. You're like, kick his ass. You're so proud of yourself. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
And you're going to do this again. You're going to
Yeah.
you know what? Just put hidden cameras around on the bike so you can film Matt, struggling. That'd be great.
That's a great idea. GoPros.
You can put it right next to the motor on your bike.
And the helicopter that's waiting for you. Here, hold on, Misha. We got to do something, so don't go moseying away. Somebody won something, and I don't know who, but we're going to find out. So, huzzah! There we go. There are people who won something for doing that, for taking that photo and posting it. They've won stuff. Are those people here?
They're the only ones.
Literally, there's only 4 people, not forever. Anybody in that photo in this room? Well, come hither. And take your prize from the front pocket of Misha's shirt.
What do they win, Rich?
They win. What they won has nothing to do with Misha Collins, ironically. So, what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah, your name?
Julia.
Who's the third person in the photo? Okay, so there you go. So
This is for a photo with Jensen and Jared in the Impala.
Right.
I'm sorry we couldn't get you a better photo, but as it shows the retail price here of $2,500. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
And again, sorry that it wasn't a cooler picture that you got, but
It'll make do. You can do it, you can sell it, and get you something actually nice. You know what I mean? All right. Good job. Thank you for participating. Good job, ladies. Thank you for participating. I know a lot of you got yelled at yesterday by a very handsome MC, and I think it did the trick. When you see these contest things coming up, get involved, get something cool, or get stuck with a shitty photo like that. But it's worth rolling the dice, right? You never know.
Where was the handsome MC? I didn't.
Oh, he came to win. But man, he was on fire. Speaking of on fire, Misha Collins.
bye.